I first got involved with JCUA as the Avodah organizer. It meant a lot to me that JCUA was organizing in a community that felt like my own, that it felt like I could be coming to Chicago and helping build the Jewish community that I wanted to be part of.
I came to the JCUA in the fall of 1969. I was a few years older than Sophie is now. I was a fifth-year student at Antioch College, which had a work-study program. I met Rabbi Marks probably the first day, and I always say that the JCUA is part of my DNA.
I first heard about JCUA from my mother. My mom was asking me if I was interested in going to her social justice meetings. Later on, she asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said yes.
Before I did orthotic, I was fairly social justice oriented. A lot of that comes from the conversations that I had growing up with my parents and with my grandparents. And as I got older, I wanted to do things about it. And so I would be recommended for all of these youth social justice programs. A lot of them, it was very much, we know very well what we're doing and we're going to now tell the children what to do.
Too often, in any spaces, but social justice spaces included, we really don't value the wisdom and experience that young people are bringing to this work. That is something we think a lot about at JCUA, that we are really trying to create an environment that is truly intergenerational, that when we talk about creating a Jewish community where we don't leave anyone behind, that includes our young people.
The JCUA Organizing Fellowship was a learning experience about Chicago's history with organizing, specifically through the Jewish lens. It's so important to bring youth into this work because in a lot of ways their lives are dictated to them. In order to help teens become young adults who make choices and feel confident in those choices, we have to start giving them leadership opportunities.
Usually we're really seen as like dumb teenagers that like to vape or do stupid stuff. But in reality, we just pretty much proved them wrong.
Orthotic teens decided to work on the Bring Chicago Home campaign, which is a campaign aiming to fight homelessness in Chicago by bringing more funds to permanent affordable housing in the city. We think really strategically about what is the role that only youth could play.
I got to do a presentation on Bring Chicago Home at my congregation. I was very scared of it because a lot of my congregation has known me since I was really young. My grandma was very involved in my congregation, and that's true of many members in my family. And so I felt sort of a lot of pressure to do everyone proud with that. But the actual presentation was exhilarating for me. There was so much trust put in me and also support in creating that presentation with the support of people who had been working on this already.
Without JCUA, I would feel much more alone in this city. I just would not have a Jewish community that I could feel close to. I wouldn't have those that I feel I align with politically. What being in the JCUA community has taught me is that, like, if I have a need, this community will rise and, like, help in whatever way makes sense.
Mara is an amazing organizer. She tries to make sure you're mentally okay. She'll give you emotional support if you need it. You will feel better after and be like, yeah, Mara made me feel better.
Something that I think is really special is that our young people have just taken ownership over thinking about their own Jewish identities, what that looks like, how does that fit into other identities they might hold.
Color is a space for Jews of color who are part of JCUA. Jews of color normally aren't seen as Jewish, and it's pretty annoying because you don't really get a validation. The Jews of color youth group brought them together so they can be proud of who they are.
It has been meaningful for me just as someone who was once a young person who was really angry about the world and wanted ways to plug in, and bringing our young people to the table, not only valuing what they have to say and offer, but really being guided by their visions for the world that aren't coming from a place of fear or scarcity, but are really coming from a place of hope and vision. The youth that JCUA is working with today will be involved in our community for years, if not decades to come. These are the core leaders that will be guiding our work 20, 30 years from now.
It is pretty special to organize alongside my mom. I do feel inspired and encouraged by my mother because she often takes me to protests or meetings with the mayor, even if she and the mayor like argue a lot. If someone goes, hey, is that your mom? I'll be like, yeah, I'm Sydney's daughter.
I think the fact that my grandmother is such an involved JCUA member and has been for a while, and that I also get to do that is a real testament to JCUA's value of intergenerational working.
I am obviously an incredibly proud grandmother about this. I came to the JCUA when I was only a few years older than she is now, and it's been a part of my life ever since. I would be proud of Sophie whatever she was doing, but the fact that she's doing it here is a particularly wonderful thing, because issues will change over time, but the skills that Sophie gets to learn now, she will certainly carry with her and have them at her fingertips for the rest of her life. I try to stay out of her way and let her do her thing and just kind of watch and smile.